Hello everybody, this is Manda6 and welcome to another challenge video. As you can probably guess from what you see on the screen, we are going to try a one expansion pack, one game pack, and one stuff pack build challenge. This lovely random pack generator is made by James Turner YT. I will link his YouTube in the description down below. He's created this really awesome tool to basically help with build challenges, or if you wanted to use this for a sim challenge. There's a lot of good variety in it, and part of it is the little tick mark here that says include at least one expansion pack, one game pack, and one stuff pack. And he developed that specifically for this kind of build challenge. What you do is you enter the number of results you'd like. So I've entered 3, so we will get one of each. And then you select and deselect the packs that you have. So I have none of the kits, a smattering of stuff packs, most of the game packs, and almost all of the expansion packs. So let's see what we get and come up with an interesting build as a result. Awesome. So we've got Get Famous, Parenthood, and Tiny Living stuff. So I think we're gonna try and do a tiny home residential that can support at least a couple of children sims. So maybe a toddler and a teen, and then have parental units. So either a single parent that has their own space. It could be grandparents, aunts, uncles, or what have you. So at least one double bedroom. And that'll be a very interesting challenge to fit into a tiny household. I don't think we're going to go for a micro home, but I think there's some interesting things that can be made. And Get Famous, I think perhaps we'll pick one of the smaller lots in Desal Valley and try and work off of that. So what I ended up also doing was I used the challenge when making my test sim. So here we have Louise Bustamante and her 2 grandchildren, Alia and Elijah. So we've got a teen, we've got a toddler, and we've got an elder, which will fit basically what we want to do here for designing the house. And this is where we get into the speed build part. I didn't want to have it entirely as a live build, otherwise this would have been quite a bit longer video. And basically what I did for the build was a lot of just tweaking around. I wanted to try for a tiny home, so the 64 by 64 lot. I believe that is the one that I had also done before with the treehouse tiny build that I had done previously. It's a comfortable size for a bunch of sims. I will definitely get around to doing a micro home challenge, because I do like the thought of really seeing how much stuff we can pack in, and maybe doing some very interesting, not necessarily cheaty things with replacing walls, but just some more interesting, perhaps lofting options, what have you. Anyway, getting to the build proper, I took a lot of inspiration off of the buildings that are in the surrounding area. They sort of have not quite an Italian, but like a Spanish influence to them with the tiled roofs. So I used tiling on the exterior, and then also from the Get Famous plaque, there is a lot of sort of retro inspired, modern, like 60s modern, that kind of thing. So I had that as the doors and windows in this build, just because it's a lot of fun. And just kind of kept it a very simple but sort of interesting shape. I kind of offset the two squares. So there's a 2x2 square and then there's a 3x3 square when I was initially building for the offshoots. So it's a little asymmetrical, but it wasn't too much of a pain to roof because it has that one central unit. Um, and basically, a lot of what I was going through was just kind of figuring out where I could see each room being because I wanted at least two bedrooms. Unfortunately, Alia will have to share her bedroom with her little brother Elijah, which I can only imagine as a teenager would be a pain in the butt to share it with a toddler, but this is what happens when you're in a tiny home. You have to make some compromises. Um, so basically, uh, kind of opened up the space, uh, decided sort of where I wanted the bathroom because I knew we needed a shower tub combo or at least a bathtub combo because there's a toddler, just so you know that toddler can get bubble baths. And the bathroom goes through a couple of different iterations. What I end up doing is kind of doing interesting cut throughs initially. Um, I see if I fit a bookcase in there, and then I decide to go with more of a desk little nook area that gets pushed and tweaked around. Here's where I do a little bit of live build testing, so I'm testing if the sim can actually get to the objects. As you can probably guess, the desk gets too far pushed back because of the one tile. So I just was able to access all of the bathroom areas, which is good, and had to tweak around with the desk. So initially having that like one tile, she can access the computer, but the Sims clip through the wall, and that just kind of doesn't look right. So I tweaked it, like scooted it a little bit far from the wall. That way she's not, phasing through the wall just to get onto her computer. And just using the precision placing to bump it out just a little bit. As a result, I bumped the bathroom tile over to fill up that space, and it becomes where the toilet kind of just is tucked away to the side, which that ends up working out quite well for when I'm trying to fit a toddler potty in there. There's actually enough room to still do a bubble bath and to potty train your toddler and use the bathroom, use the sink. Like I made sure to play test this because tiny houses with everything being in close proximity to each other, you definitely want to kind of build and test at the same time just to make sure things are accessible. Um, and as a result, it also tweaks around a little bit with the lot value because of using things in live mode depreciates the value. Um, I think I noticed that most with the countertops when I was swapping them out for the kitchen. Um, I think initially the Parenthood countertops are 200 simoleons and they get discounted down to like 160. So it's a pretty significant depreciation value for less than one sim day of play. Anyway, continuing on with the build, made basically this front entranceway into a little living room space. I was debating using the combined unit that comes with Tiny Living, but I kind of really like the banquet or the buffet table or just the accent table that comes with Gets Famous. It's probably one of my favorite just little decorative pieces, and you can fit everything that goes into the combined unit onto that desktop. And it looks pretty stylish. So I think that worked quite well with kind of having a galley style living room right at the front entrance. For the kitchen, I made it quite large. Took out the far window and put the appliances on that wall there. Kind of had a nice little view for washing your dishes out the window. And I actually noticed when I was placing the bin that it seems to snap to that end unit counter. So I do wonder if that's just an interaction I hadn't noticed building before, or if that was a new thing. Let me know if you've noticed it as well, because that if that's sort of a feature, that's actually quite handy for mobility's sake. Instead of having to precision place it next to a counter all the time. And for the decorations, I was kind of definitely still leaning towards using retro inspired, like modern things for accents, with nice bright colors, nice saturated tones, and kind of leaving the baseboards and the walls relatively plain, all things considered, just to use the decor and the furniture choices as the sort of like focus pieces. So, lots of bright patterns, lots of fun little things to warm up and change things over. So here's another test. This is when I was making sure that the toddler could be read to in bed, because I know there's sometimes a little weird interactions depending on what you place on either side of the toddler bed. I was making sure that the double bedroom could be accessed, and definitely made sure that the potty end wasn't blocking anything. So that worked out quite well, all things considered. And then just kind of tying up the last of the house with some decoration options, just little wall decorations, some nice fairy lights in the teens room, plants, rugs, just stuff to liven up the place. And I think I ended up completely clearing the budget on this. So what it would actually end up if you had a four-sim household, for example, is you'd have a lot left over to spend. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any suggestions for uh, extra challenges or builds you'd like to see me try, please let me know in the comments down below. I am open to suggestions and sort of the creative things that the Sims community comes up with. I hope you all have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.